Story 1, AITA for yelling at a woman and her autistic daughter after they almost knocked me into the subway tracks? So this happened yesterday on my way to somewhere after work. I had just gotten off the subway and was walking on the platform to the stairs. It was a bit crowded since it was rush hour, so I walked across the platform, so I was walking closer to the opposite track. While I'm walking, someone crashes into my side and knocks me into the yellow part of the platform that you're not supposed to stand on while waiting for a train. People who have been to NYC will know what I am talking about. I almost lost my balance, and to make matters worse, a train was pulling in. I look in front of me, and I see two women walking by. One woman was walking in front and the other younger woman has holding on to the back of her backpack and swinging back and forth and not paying any attention to how she was walking. I yelled, "Hey, watch it." They just kinda ignored me or didn't hear me, and I went closer to them and yelled again, "Hey, I'm talking to you, watch where you're going." The woman in front turned around and told me not to yell at her and her daughter, the younger woman, but still an adult. She was autistic and was sensitive in the subway. I told her that she and her daughter needed to be more careful. She almost knocked me into the tracks. The woman told me I was being rude and insensitive to her daughter's disability and stormed off. AITA? Embelezer says, NTA autistic person here and mother to autistic kids. What they did was dangerous. I understand how it could happen, but her nonchalant attitude about it was messed up. She should have immediately helped you and apologized and explained that her daughter wasn't being malicious, just overstimulated and unaware. Her attitude was way wrong and you had every right to be upset and say what you said. And Terra Tupac says, NTA, I knew a guy in college with cerebral palsy or maybe MD, this was 20 years ago. He couldn't get a driver's license for the same reason folks with epilepsy can't, but he had a car anyway. I rode with him once. It was fucking terrifying. He thought I was the asshole and I guess the whole DM for being so scared that he couldn't maintain a lane and or stop veering randomly. He could not control this 1.5 tons of metal that he was driving at 40 miles per hour. My then friend group didn't see what the big deal was, either. The dude was probably gonna kill somebody one day because he didn't want to take the bus. It's as bad as killing someone in a DUI collision and arguably worse because alcohol impairs decision-making, whereas he knowingly endangered other drivers and pedestrians without mind-altering chemicals. And no, I am not apologizing for drunk drivers. Fuck those selfish assholes with Lucille disabilities are inherently unfair and those with them should absolutely be treated with respect and kindness. Having a chip on your shoulder about it is sad but entirely understandable. But it's not a free pass to be a public menace. St. Alva says, NTA, the woman in front turned around and told me not to yell at her and her daughter, the younger woman, but still an adult. She was autistic and was sensitive in the subway. She needs to be more fucking sensitive. Story 2, AITA for not agreeing to sit and watch an entire TV show with my daughter as a bonding thing. My 28-year-old daughter Jessica moved back in with me and her father, my husband, 6 months ago. She split with her live-in girlfriend and will save up at home. The one big difference she and I have always had is that she loves watching TV. She is always watching something, or as she says, doing a rewatch and all of that. I never really got into TV. Jessica started doing a rewatch of a show she must have seen a dozen times, Gilmore Girls. It is a show about a very entitled and bratty mother and daughter who constantly yell and scream at each other and everyone around them. Over the years while she has watched it, I've seen enough to know that I just do not like it. I think the show relies on the viewer to find the yelling matches endearing or the quirky cast of side characters to be charming. It's just not for me. I could explain more about what I don't like, but I don't think anyone wants that. But Jessica asked me if we could do this one together because it would be a great mother-daughter bonding time. I asked her how we would be bonding by sitting down and watching the TV, and she said it would just be the experience. I told her that I'm sorry, but I just genuinely dislike the show and that I am not interested in watching hours and hours of TV to begin with. I told her that I would be happy to watch a movie with her every week. She didn't want to do that. And now I've heard her feelings and she's angry with me because I won't sit and watch a TV show I dislike with her. I don't like to hurt her feelings, but I also cannot imagine how much time I'd be wasting just sitting there watching a show about overly privileged people screaming at each other. AITA? Edit. I just want to make a few things clear, since there are some wild leaps in the comments. We do spend time together, and over the years and now I've done many things with her that I wasn't all that interested in. I've seen Taylor Swift 3 times, and it wasn't because I love her. Golden Tone says, she's probably really sad about splitting up with a partner she shared a life with. It's more about that than the TV show. When my kids are sad or otherwise vulnerable, I say yes to a lot of together time I would normally try to wriggle out of. Lol. You definitely shouldn't feel pressured to watch every single GG episode, maybe suffer through a few if that's what she needs right now. Obviously, giving her a place to live is already doing a lot for her, and I'm not saying you're being unreasonable, but from an outsider's perspective, you've got a small blind spot when it comes to an emotional need she is right now. Artistic Wolverine says, haha. I was a 50-year-old man when I lost my job. My youngest son was in high school. We would watch GGs when he got home from school. He liked Rory and I liked Lorelai. My wife would get home from work and see us watching and would just roll her eyes at us. She still teases us about it. Now she's retired and watches reruns of GGs. Valerie50 says, you know this isn't really about the TV show, right? I once watched 3 seasons of a show I detested simply because my early 20s son asked me to. It was about him wanting to spend quiet time with mom, sharing something he was interested in with me. We watched, we talked, we made fun of goofy plot lines, we laughed. I still hate the show, but I wouldn't trade that time with him for the world. Thanks for watching, I love you. Follow Reddit Echoes for more.